Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Hype Queen podcast. You are with your host, Megan. I hope you are amazing and doing so well. I have a very exciting topic to talk about today, which again, I say every single time I open the podcast. But you know what? Like, that's just me. We're just getting used to it. Quick recap on my weekend. I had the most beautiful weekend. I had lots of family stuff on, which was amazing. And a couple of other work bits and pieces. But I went to lunch with my dad's partner for her birthday and that family. So that was so much fun. I love hanging out with them. And we went to this beautiful pub in the hills up here. So had delicious lunch and then a very quiet evening for me, which was also amazing. Saturday night after my efforts from last weekend. And then yesterday, so Sunday, because I'm recording this on Monday, I went for a huge big walk. I went to the gym. As I like to do, get up early still on weekends because it's important to keep myself in routine. So I got up, got everything done, did a heap of work bits and pieces, and then I spent the afternoon with my goddaughter and my best friend and her partner, my other best friend, and we went to the Big Rocking Horse here in Adelaide. It was a beautiful drive, and then we went out for lunch and just spent the day together, and it was just really wholesome and amazing. So I'm feeling very refreshed for this week. I'm so beyond excited to talk about what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to shush and I'm just going to start talking about it. So today I'm talking about giving yourself the gift of time, okay, by becoming a morning girl or a morning person. Now, if you've been in my world for longer than 5 minutes, you know that I love mornings. I love a good morning routine. I love getting up earlier. It really sets my day up. And I implemented it, probably like, I don't know, we'll call it 8 years ago. I was like, as I was doing the notes for this, I was like, how long have I been getting up at 4 a.m. for? Call it 8 years ago, right? So I used to go to the gym in the morning. And so that was my reason to get up. So there was like no other intention behind it other than like I needed enough time to go to the gym and to get ready and to go to work. So it was like a big non-negotiable in my life. Like I created that extra time so that I could get to the gym and then work out. And like I said, have enough time to get all of my shit together and get ready, for work. But because I did cardio after my weight session, I had heaps of time spare. Well, like call it spare. It was 45 minutes on the treadmill basically. So I had 45 minutes where I had, access to my phone and I would, go through my work emails and see what had come in for the day, or I would get back to messages that I had missed from the night before. And it was really just about general space to be able to do what I needed to. And I just felt like I could fit so much more into my life. So I had an uninterrupted time where, my music was playing along, and it wasn't like as I said, intention to do anything specifically. It was kind of just like, okay, cool. Like, let me, run my life on zero notifications for as long as possible. Because I'm up before everybody, can get back to everyone and everything. And I just felt, I guess, more organized and more on top of life and a little bit less overwhelmed. So when I became too unwell to get to the gym, it was like it completely negated my reasons. It completely cancelled every reason I had possible to get up any earlier than what I needed to. So my mornings became incredibly rushed, incredibly overwhelming. And because I was so used to having that space in the mornings to be able to move and do what I needed to do, I felt like I was chasing my tail for the whole day. So I would get up at the very last second. I would snooze my alarm like crazy. And, it's like one thing happens in the morning and it's like a snowball, you feel like. So like, you spill your coffee on yourself or you burn your toast or, you do whatever, and then you hit every red light on your way into work. And then you're late. And then your boss is up your ass about stuff. It's not like it's a snowball of things. And it's hard to pull yourself, I guess, out of that mentality. And when I was at my sickest, I actually couldn't sleep from pain. So my night meditation like routine or like life sort of started then because, not only was I physically unwell, I was incredibly mentally unwell. So I went from, getting up super early in the morning, being exhausted by the evening time because I had fit so much into my day that I sleep beautifully away I would go. But then obviously when I was unwell, half the time I wasn't going to work, I wasn't moving out of bed. So I wasn't, I guess expelling any energy other than to try and get through the day, which meant that I couldn't sleep, not only because obviously the pain, but also because I wasn't doing anything, productive with my time. So hence the night meditation starts because I literally was just looking for any way to fall asleep without wanting to cry or without having to think about how shitful I felt. And so I stumbled across Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, and then the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So I thought to myself, okay, I knew previously that when I got up early, I would feel more on top of life. But I just had that incentive removed because I wasn't going to the gym. So I was like, okay, cool. I need to implement something that's going to give me a reason to get up earlier, because like, not without, I guess, inadvertently, without understanding or without knowing it, that morning setup, I'm not going to call it routine because that's not what it was. That morning time, really created space for me to propel my life into kind of like where it is now. So I decided to implement the Miracle Morning Savers actions. So if you've read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it basically takes you through 6 steps that he runs through to do in the morning that will sort of like take about an hour. So I started getting up at 5 a.m. instead. And I remembered what it was like to get myself into the routine of getting up earlier, or into the habit, I should say, of getting up earlier. It sucked. It was awful, but it didn't take me too long. One, obviously you get used to getting up early, but 2, my brain was just like, holy fuck, we have so much more time. We have so much more space. I have so much more energy now because you're not cramming everything into the smallest amount of window possible because you're getting up as late as possible. But you're still going to bed early because you're still feeling shit. So implemented that. And I thought, no, do you know what? 4 a.m. was my time, because, even getting up at 5 a.m. now, I'm kind of just like not still 100%. I think my body's just wired nowadays to get up at 4 a.m. So started getting back up at 4 a.m. And purely for the fact that I wanted to learn how to build a website. So I obviously had what I call now my Meg's morning. So like how everyone calls it savers, I call it my Meg's morning. And I encourage, if you're going to look into doing this, you call it something so it almost becomes like sacred. And then I got into the do my Meg's morning, and then I would get into the course before I would start my work for the day. So this, I guess, has stuck with me for years now. As I said, it's probably 8 years since I've been studying, or since I've gotten up early. And I've just gone through evolutions of, I guess, different morning routines. So, sometimes I wanted to include, morning walks or the gym or study or starting my business. And working in my business was, probably the pivotal thing, because I just refused not to do it because I just loved it so much. And the only way I could do it was if I got up at 4 a.m. because it meant I could do my Meg's morning, which, it was not only amazing for my mental health, but it was just cleared my headspace so much that I had already accomplished, heaps before 5 a.m. So I would have that time before I would start work to work on my business, to do this podcast, even to do everything before I was able to, move time into that area full time. So I obviously started sleeping better as well, because not only was I more tired because I was managing to cram more into the day, but I was also significantly less anxious. And I was also so much more present throughout my day, because I think, we really get caught up in these loops of like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, like, fuck, oh my God, don't forget to do that or whatever. But when you have the time and space to do it, like I call it my brain dump to-do list in the morning, because it's like, oh, don't forget to do that, don't forget to do that, don't forget to do that. It's already out of your head. Like it's already down on paper. So you know that you don't have to worry about it because you're going to come back to it. So I was able to be so much more present in everything that I was doing in my life, from, in my relationship, in my friendships, at my job, in my business, in all of the things, because I didn't have that constant swirling, running around of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, don't forget this, got to do that. And that was when I literally felt like I gave myself the gift of time, because I was not able to do it, after work, because obviously I had family commitments and other bits and pieces. And I'm still an early morning sleeper. So this is the thing. I will go to bed early, irrespective of what time I get up. So I'm literally wasting time by getting up any later, because I've had plenty of sleep. I go to bed earlier. So it was just about kicking my ass into getting back into that. But as I said, once I, redeveloped, I suppose, the habit, but also remembering, and, my brain was just like, that's right, we love this. Like, yes, getting up at 4 a.m. is a little bit shitty sometimes. But the benefits far outweigh how the shit it is to begin with. So as I said, fast forward now, I do get up at 4 a.m. So I do my Meg's morning, which consists of morning meditation. So it's about 10 minutes, and I will pop them in the show notes, because I've been doing these meditations now They're by My Piece of Mindfulness, and they just, like, I don't know, it like gives me a little buzz after. It's a whole thing. And then I write down 10 affirmations, and affirmations in, a lot of the time I will repeat them because there's sort of like 10 core affirmations that like literally fall out of my head, and I want to ingrain them into my belief system. But affirmations are the times that I'll come up with as well. For my one-on-one clients, they get daily affirmations sent to them. So I will, really take the time and space to think about, okay, cool, like, what would be a great affirmation, or I research some new affirmations as well. And then I write down 5 things I am grateful for. And also I can then, lastly, I go through all of the things in my head that went really well from the day before. So my magic readers, you'll know this dopamine hack. But yeah, literally from start to finish from the day previously, I go through my day bit by bit, and I, really pull out the best bits and sort of think to myself, okay, cool, what went right yesterday? Because it really sort of, I don't know what it is exactly or how it works, but it just makes you feel like, okay, cool, I had a really good day. So I had, so many wins yesterday. Let's bloody do the same again today. So all up, it's like, call it 45 minutes of my day to put me in the best state, and to have, I guess, the best day moving forward. But also, again, really giving myself that gift of time and space for whatever else might come up, because, typically, well, I wouldn't say typically, but sometimes things can come up early in the morning urgently that I can get on top of and, get moved on. And then, it's 9 a.m. when I sort of sit down to start what I'll call loosely my work day. And not only I accomplished, a shitload already, but I have, also been able to, cover any crises that have come up, early morning. So again, if you're working one-on-one with me, you know that this is the first thing, or one of the first things that we do together, is developing a good morning routine. Because, I truly believe, not only from, I guess, my own experience and digging myself out of a awful mental health hole, that I was in, I really attribute a lot of that to coming up with a morning routine, or a morning, I guess, whatever, that really enabled me to have more time to do the things I wanted to do. But also it became such a non-negotiable, because my brain literally was just almost like, we can't survive without this. Like, I need this time and this space. You are getting up now, away we go. So no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, if you've ever been on a holiday with me, if you've ever been away with me, if you've ever spent any time with me in the morning, you'll see me disappear for 45 minutes, because I do it on holiday. I will do it on the weekends. I will do it, whenever, in front of whomever, because I just don't care. So, it's just that time and space that I need for my mind in the mornings, just to be able to, get up and get going. So, is it always perfect? Obviously not. But again, I have enough space in my mind to hold what is needed to sort of push through and do it again, and do it better tomorrow. So, a good example of when I was away camping at Easter time, we were camping in Swags. It was really tricky to sort of like, sneak myself away. We didn't have very good reception either. So the meditations that I would usually download on YouTube, I didn't have access to, but you know what, I did the best, and yeah, it made all of the difference. So I am grateful that my family let me hold the space that I can to disappear, and they do leave me alone, because otherwise they'll annoy the hell out of me. So if you had to give yourself the gift of time, or you were able to give yourself the gift of time, what would you do with it? So we always say we're too busy to do things. It's like things that, come up and say, no, couldn't do that, too busy, whatever. If you removed all of those and you literally had, call it, a spare hour with your day, what would you actually do with it? Because I think that's the other, trick to it, is that we say we want more time. We say we need more time. We say we need all of these things. But if you actually had that time, what would you do with it? Because the intentionality behind it is the biggest reason that I found I was able to stick to it. Because, getting up to go to the gym, I mean, whilst, yes, that is an intention, you get up, you go to the gym, you're not going to miss the gym, so you're going to get up and go. But when you take that out of it, the intention to get up in order to set yourself up perfectly for the day is something completely different. So if you wanted to get up earlier, would it be to read a book, to do a course, to get serious, on your side hustle, to get prepped for your day, pack your lunch, go to the gym, do a yoga class, see a friend, spend time with your loved one, make a nice breakfast, or even just have some time to do whatever you want? Because like, we know how how hectic life can get, right? So it's like being able to take yourself out of that and take a sort of bird's eye view of your whole life and sort of think, okay, like in what ways can I make today amazing? And that's the other thing I love to do as well, sort of in the morning. It's just like, okay, cool, I know I've got these things coming up. I know I have to do this today, and it's, you know, how can I just make this, you know, the best day? Because I truly believe when we go into days thinking like, fuck, I've got to do this, got to do that, blah, 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 it sets the tone. Right. So when you can, you know, sit back and look and think, how can, you know, even if you've just got meetings, you just have to go to work, like, how can you just make them the best ever? So first thing, have a sit down and think about exactly what it might look like if you had an extra hour in your day, and the feeling, you know, of having that space and creating that space, and how do you actually think it would benefit your day? And I know what everyone always says to me is like, I go to bed too late, or I'm not a morning person. And, you know, that's going to be the case and going to be completely true continually if that's what you keep telling yourself. That's exactly what it will be. So I encourage you, if you are saying to me or thinking to yourself, to me, I go to bed too late, I can't get up early in the morning, I have other things that are, you know, stopping me, the more I guess you continue to affirm that to yourself, the more it's going to continue to be true. So, you know, not only do I have every hack you can imagine to develop the perfect morning, I've also developed really, I guess, good habits when it comes to, you know, the night before. So obviously, and, you know, an easy one is, are you getting enough sleep? So yes, without a shadow of a doubt, I get enough sleep, because as I said, irrespective of what time I get up, I am bloody lights out at 9 o'clock. And, you know, other things that I just found, like putting household chores, like I'll stack the dishwasher in the morning, or I'll unload the dishwasher in the morning. And then you get downstairs in the morning, you didn't do it the night before, you see it. It really pisses you off. And it's like, I should have just frigging done that. Or, you know, even laying your clothes out for the next day, or prepping your lunch or meals or whatever for the next day. You know, you've probably got a billion examples running around in your head of these things that you do, because we all do them. And it's just, once I sort of stopped doing that and enabling myself to, I guess, be a little bit more prepared and a little bit more sort of kinder to my morning self, then that made such a difference. So, you know, the other hacks I sort of implemented to be able to, you know, and I guess not enable myself to get up, because it's, you know, more of a habit now, but just to support my early morning gal self. So I do try and go to sleep around the same time each weeknight. And, you know, let's be real, on the weekends, I'm typically not up very late either. I do not go on my phone an hour before I go to sleep anymore. So my phone lives in my ensuite. So I actually will put it away before I go to bed to read, because yeah, otherwise we're all guilty of it. I will get into some sort of scroll hole, and it'll be like some ridiculous hour later, and my brain is still wired. So I've just found that putting my phone away, one, it stops me from being like, oh, I wonder if anyone's messaged me. Oh, I better just check this or whatever. That removes all of that, which is a big thing for me. You know, making sure I get back to people on time and things like that. Huge issue for me. So if I put it away, my phone's in bed, then I can go to bed. I also put my gym clothes out the night before. So really, really simple again. But it just means I can chuck them straight on in the morning, especially at the minute, because, you know, the mornings are bloody cold. So if I can get dressed quickly, then I am good to go. I typically won't consume caffeine after around midday. And I'm not one that's super sensitive to caffeine, but, you know, any kind of later than that, I'll find that, I don't know, I get a little bit sort of like out of whack. So I try not to consume any caffeine after midday. As I said, putting your phone physically away from you is not only obviously removes that distraction of an evening, but in the morning, I actually have to physically get out of bed to turn my alarm off. So I have to, you know, I'm already up then. So it's just like, well, there's no point bloody going back to sleep now. I've walked over my gym clothes that I put out before. So I'll just pop them on and get on with my day. So that was probably one of the biggest hacks that I found at the start, was just like removing my ability to snooze, because that's a killer. And the method of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 by Mel Robbins. So she basically, with anything, I guess, is a really good mental reset or a circuit breaker, where, you know, you lay there, and I'm sure you guys all know the feeling. You lay there and your alarm goes off, and your brain is just like trying to give you every reason why you shouldn't get up. just yet, or you should just snooze for a little bit and go back to sleep, or, you know, why the gym's not really that important this morning, or why whatever intention you set for yourself the night before is not that important. You know, that little voice in the back of our heads that is the most incredible negotiator ever. I just find that if I do struggle to get up and I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get the fuck up, like off we go. So like I said, whatever the science is behind it, it works really, really well. And also, ever since I did this bloody deep dive into what snoozing your alarm actually does to our brains, I have not snoozed my alarm once since, unless I've been unwell or whatever reason. I literally am so terrified of the implications of something called sleep inertia, because it basically sets your day back by like 4 hours. And as someone who likes to achieve the most in the mornings, that ain't it for me. So I, do everything I can to avoid that by not snoozing my alarm. And sometimes I literally will just get up and shake my body, like just, you know, I'm not going to go to the gym straight away, obviously, but jumping in my gym clothes so I can do my Meg's morning before I go to the gym, you know, shaking it all out, you know, waking yourself up, and you just have a little bit of a giggle at yourself, to be honest, as well, because you're just like standing there, like wiggling around. You're like, yes, it's almost like, you know, you're psyching yourself up to to tackle the day. And, you know, I guess I also just remember how much more calm my days are when I get up. You know, I've created a life that I no longer run away from or sleep away, you know, or avoid being awake for. And that's the biggest thing for me, is that I would snooze as long as possible because I didn't really want to be awake. So by creating, you know, having to push through that, creating a morning routine that supported, you know, me the space to be able to build something so I could quit my job, but also become a much healthier version of myself, and you know, moving forward with my life and not being stuck in that continuous loop. You know, that was obviously huge, and that's something that really plays on my mind a lot, as well as I think, like, you know, I'm habitual with this, and you know, this will never end, or you know, whatever, and it's a really easy motivator for me to think like, you want to be how you were a couple of years ago? Do you want to go back down that hole of hating everything you woke up to? So not only creating a life that I don't want to run away from, but also knowing I can push through things with a really solid morning routine, and extra space and time in the morning, to be able to create what I want to create, so that I don't dread waking up in the morning. And, you know, the other big one was having an accountability buddy. So I had one when I went to the gym. I went to the gym with a friend of mine every morning. So you kind of had that person that you didn't want to let down. But when I guess I stopped going to the gym and I reintroduced my 4 a.m. wake ups, I had somebody else in my life that was also getting up that early. And so we would message each other and just make sure. And my partner at the time, he also used to start work super early. So it was like, okay, cool. You know, it really, really, really helps having, you know, somebody else there to support you as well on your early morning journey. So they were, I guess, my life changes. Some of them, there's a few others, hacks that really, I guess, turned me into the morning galley that I am now. So not only did I want to share those with you, but I have gone one step further, and I have created a whole program to support you to become a morning lover as well. So I would love to introduce to you guys the Morning Girl Movement. So my newest program, and she is hot off the press. And let me tell you, the best time to fucking do this is in winter, because winter habits are made in summer. And when you can be the morning girl for the Morning Girl Movement in winter, it'll be a piece of cake for you in the summer. So it's a 6-week program. So you'll not only have obviously the support and the accountability, but also the tools to support you as well. So I'm going to go through in significantly more detail everything I've just run through around the psychology of getting up earlier and rewiring your mind into, you know, making it super easy to get out of bed in the morning, but also anchoring into the feeling of loving being a very early morning gal as well. So no matter what your reasons are for wanting, you know, to get up earlier in the morning, and it's not just getting up for getting up's sake, it is literally getting up with the intention to do something. So we will help you do that. So we'll prep your morning routine the night before, as I sort of alluded to earlier. I'll have obviously a lot more detail. We'll create a supportive morning routine to help you spring out of bed. I'm going to give you the science behind how bad snoozing your alarm is, because if you're anything like me, you bloody never do it again. As I said, we're going to rewire your mind just to make getting out of bed super easy. anchoring into the feeling of loving waking up early, and strategies to get back on the morning girl bandwagon if you fall off, because it can be inevitable, depending on, I guess, the strategies that you go in with, and the tips and the tools that you have to prepare yourself for those harder morning conversations with your mind when it's just like, it's so warm, go back to bed. Well, that's not what we do here. But also I will be cementing your new morning routines into your future as well, and future proofing all mornings. So, I know there's going to be lots of questions that come up around, people that have children, or if you have a big night the night before and things like that. I'm going to run through all of that with you, and strategies. And I am absolutely here as your hype girl, as always, to support and guide you along. So I wanted to make this as community minded as possible. So I'm going to do the weekly live calls for support, and I want you to come armed with any questions that you have, any ideas that you want me to share with you. Come and share your wins. Or if you maybe had a couple of days where you weren't able to get up, come and talk to the group about it, because I really want this to be a group of us doing this. Hence why I called it the Morning Girl Movement, because it's really imperative that we feel like we've got that support around us, especially when you're making such a big change as well. So if you're a 7 a.m. 7 a.m. waker, let's say, and you decide you want to wake up at 5 a.m., that's going to be a big shock on your system. So we're here to support. I will also be creating an accountability Voxer group as well. So I really want the community to be in there, supporting each other, cheering each other on, but also celebrating themselves. So you've gotten up, every single morning this week, send a photo in the group of what you're up to. What does your morning routine look like? I like to send funny photos of my pets that don't like mornings as much as I do. So my dog Prada is not a morning girl. She will not be joining this movement. She's not ready to get out of bed until she's ready to go for her walk in the morning. So it's really just a way of supporting and cheering, and also a little bit of tough love, because if you see other women around you that are up and at it and going, and you hear the notifications on your phone, you're like, I know exactly what that is, and everybody else is getting up, it's going to give you the drive and the determination to get your butt out of bed as well. I'll also be sharing morning and evening journal prompts. So like I said, I'm going to equip you with so many mindset hacks to, get around. Again, don't get me wrong. It's going to be it's going to be tricky at the start, but I'm going to prepare you to go in for this. So morning and evening journal prompts, as well as meditation recommendations, if that's what you want to start your morning off, I suppose. So, there will be prizes at the end of the 6 weeks, and this is going to be for people that are the most consistent, but also supporting your fellow community members as well. So just showing up each day, and being the biggest mover and shaker as well. I really want to see what we can do together, and we can create all of these 5 a.m. clubbers, or the 4 a.m. clubbers, or whatever that looks like for you. So this program is really about enabling you, giving you the tools, giving you the tips, giving you the tricks, giving you the hacks, giving you the support, giving you everything you need to support you on your journey, as well as a bunch of besties around you supporting you to do the same. So we start on Sunday, the 20th of August. So we're going to do a Sunday reset and prep together. There will be a webinar on that day where I will run through all of the hacks, tips, tricks that I have just spoken about in great detail. Now, the recording will obviously be available for you. But there will also be worksheets for you to run through as well prior to that, because I really want to know, why do you want to get up early? What will you do with this extra time? It's not just, I do love, I'll be honest, the morning girl TikToks, but if you can be that for yourself and have that for yourself, then, you're going to feel like a new person. So is it going to be tough to start with? Yes, obviously. But as I said, my second new favorite saying is summer habits are created in winter. So it's a perfect time to cement a new habit. And it will be beyond easy for you to maintain in summer. And I guarantee you, you will love creating the extra time for yourself so much that it will just become easy so fast, because you won't, the first day, if you happen to fall off, I guarantee you your morning is going to be shit. The rest of your day is going to be stressful and feel really constricted. And then you're like, I'm not snoozing that alarm tomorrow, or I'm getting up. No, I don't care why or how, I'm bloody getting up. So I am giving my podcast girlies a 50% discount. Okay. I really want this to be a community event. All right. So if you head over to megancoleman.com.au/morning cure movement, obviously I'm going to put the link in the show notes because like who's going to remember that? So follow that along. If you do have any questions, please DM. We are here to help you. And yeah, I'm really excited for this program and I cannot wait to start our morning girl movement together. And it's definitely one of the biggest questions that I get, or things that I get asked around how I am able to get up at 4 a.m. every single day. So I'm going to share with you all of the secrets, all the good stuff, all the whatever, just so that we can all get up together and we can start creating new things, creating space for ourselves. And I really believe that I guess it'll go through evolutions of this, like it has for me personally as well, right? So I started off having to go to the gym and like want to do this and whatever, but now it looks so different for me. But because I have installed those habits, it was so easy just to create the new habit on top of, I guess, the already getting up early habit. So I didn't have to worry about starting a new habit, but then also having to get up earlier to be able to do the new habit. So I'm here for you. So as I said, big community. I want all my Hub Queens all in together. We're going to do this together and we are going to just become the Morning Girl movement. So that is the episode for today. As I said, all the links will be in the show notes and you can message me if you have any questions, but I love you so much and I'll see you in the next episode.